Gary, what do you admire most about your dad?
My dad did the right things. Like my whole life, my dad always did the right thing, and my dad was very steady, and
Always at the right thing.
well, he's very reliable. I feel like in my case where I guess I always kind of I'm comparing to myself and how I'm parenting, and I think how unhinged I am, and it's like, well, like my father's much more stable, and my father had his own, his own life and his own stuff and struggles, but it's just like, hey, I think I respect the fact that he was reliable, right? He went to work every day. My dad also was very generous. I was just talking to Marie about it the other day because my kids are starting to make a little bit of money, or they get gifts for Christmas or birthdays or whatever. Like we're trying to part of this, like trying to teach them to tithe on that. And it's like my dad, I distinctly remember when I got my first check for $650. It was like, I worked at my first farm when I was 11 or 12, and my dad said, "Oh, you know what? We take 10%." And there again, it's like my dad's way more generous than even a 10% giver. But it was just like, hey, you give to the church, your local church, you support your church. And I think I wasn't raised by somebody that was questioning the church leadership and, oh, we shouldn't give because of this. It was just like, hey, our call is to be generous. And he's always been that. He's been that with us. He's always been helpful, and in a healthy way. Like my parents have always, but my dad, I think, emulates that, where it's like, hey, let's help you. Let's not hinder you by loading you up with, more than your siblings. It was just like, hey, he helped co-sign for loans. He was very supportive in that way. And so I think the generosity piece is probably the biggest, because people often say to me, "Oh, you support them." I'm like, "Oh, I was raised with it." So don't underestimate. Yeah, no, my dad was very, and the interesting thing is that they didn't have the money. Like I won't say anymore because I'm going to be saying too much about my parents, but they did not have the money. Like it was single income. I think I can say, I think my dad, I think he's in his 70s now, but he retired, quite a while ago. But the most he ever made was 21 something an hour.
That's wild.
And literally went to a private school, tithed. Yeah. Now everybody's going to say, "Oh, the boomer bought a place in the country for $196,000, whatever," which is fair, right? And then sold it for whatever. Yeah. But the point is that like they made sacrifice and choices, and we weren't registered for all kinds of sports. And there was, we had lots of fun. We played roller hockey every day with the neighbor kids. So we had a great childhood. But it was like, there was just choices that were made. And I think Randy Alcorn talks a lot about in his book. You start by tithing, regardless of your financial situation anyway, which is very difficult to do when you feel like you don't have the money, right? So anyways, I think my dad, if I had to say that the number one thing would have been that.
I would think I'd have very similar answer to you.
Okay.
Like exact same answer almost. One thing I still go to my dad. One thing I think that he is, he's always got an answer. He's a pretty wise guy.
Okay, cool.
So I still go to him for advice.
Cool.
So
like business stuff, or what kind of
advice? business stuff mostly, that kind of thing. Just someone to bounce ideas off of. He's always got a good answer, or at least an opinion,
or the one you want.
Yeah, he's always telling me what I want to hear.
Yes, man. He's a yes man.
No,
is he not, or does he go?
Not at
okay,
all. Not at all. He'd tell me exactly what he thought.
Okay, that's awesome.
So I like that.
Have you ever totally deviated from what you're going to do because he said, "Hey Tim, I just don't think that's that smart," or do you just go do it anyways?
No, not usually. Sometimes I'm just looking for a little confirmation from somebody else.
Okay.
But
do you have more than one person like that in your life? Or would he be the main person that you would go have those conversations?
I would say him. I got a few people for business stuff. I would say him. Like my younger brother's my business partner. So
what about faith?
That's kind of
about faith and relationships?
I don't talk with him really that much about that. I would say mostly I got a few people that I talk to the wife. She's always got some good insight for me, usually better than my own. So
is she pretty wise? Is your wife wise?
Way wiser than me.
Okay, that's awesome. So is my wife.
You cannot answer that question any other way.
You totally can.
There's a few things
she's dumber than a post. You can say it.
Few things I know better than
married her for her looks, man.
Yeah, well, that's how it starts.
Well, or not.
I never found out she was wise until later.
That was just a bonus. That's amazing.
No.
That's amazing.
You married a Catholic too, so like that probably got you in shit.
Yeah, it did, but it was also the best thing I've ever done.
Good.
Highly recommend marrying a Catholic.
Okay.
No, actually, that's not why.
Why? Because they want to have lots of children?
No.
It's basically the same as that's Reformed.
Yeah. No, the thing...
Oh, man, I had a huge discussion with this before I came in, and I said I was going to talk it, so I'm totally hijacking. I'll stop.
Well, what I would say about that is, like, it just made us both because she grew up Catholic, I grew up Reformed. So when you get married, like, it was never really told to me, but it was kind of hinted that that might be unequally yoked, as they would say. But I actually went out for lunch with Matt, like, I don't know, a month or two ago. He was saying, well, Matt Keane.
Okay.
And he brought something up that I never thought about before, because we were both not really Christians when we got married. So he's like we both went to church and stuff.
You're not unequally yoked.
Like, you're not unequally yoked.
No,
but the thing that was good about it was it kind of made us both like question what we believed.
Yeah.
And like believe for yourself, not just because I see a lot of people, they just follow what their parents do. And like, you go to this church, you grew up in this church, you go there, like nothing wrong with that at all. But for me anyways, it really helped to like shape my beliefs.
Were you guys pretty aligned? Like when you're wrestling, like you're in your year 2, 3 of marriage and you're trying to figure out marriage and you're having kids, like, and now you're going to start going to church, like, were you on the same page, or was it like tension all the time? Or
no, I don't think there was any tension. Like when we started going to the church we go to, it was just, we figured we should go to church because that's like a good thing to do.
The right thing to do. Okay.
And like, once you have kids, you're kind of like, oh, I got to be responsible. And so then we started going to church, and we just went to church where people we knew went. So that's how we started. But then it really, you hear different things at different churches, and you're like, well, I was never told that.
Interesting.
Like, what kind of lies are they telling me here?
Yeah.
So then,
yeah. Interesting.
To answer the question for myself, what do you admire most about your dad? He was the pastor of a 1,000-member church, which I think it's gone down a bunch since then. But you're in a pressure cooker situation, and you get a lot of criticism, and there's a lot of things that happened over the years. There was church splits, different things like that. And I can probably count on one hand the amount of times he talked negatively about somebody. He almost never ever did that.
Never gossiped.
Never gossiped.
That's amazing.
Never talked negatively.
That's beautiful.
Like I know. So like, for example, there was a split of my dad's church in like the early 2000s, which started another church, which is called the HRC.
Which would have been very difficult.
Very difficult. Was it the HRC? And I know in other communities in Canada and North America where that split happened, there's still huge animosity between the two groups of people and stuff like that, and a lot of like fighting. I never heard any of that. Like my dad.
The coolest part is they're all the same school. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, but
we should have more of that.
That's
like,
right.
It's just
yeah.
Good grief.
But yeah, he never talked negatively. Yeah. Like there was a few times once in a while you could tell he was maybe frustrated at someone. But he wouldn't talk negatively about other people, and that's definitely I really admire that.
That's why you do that.
Yeah, that's right.
Take the high road.
Yeah, take the high road. I mean, like, yeah.
Water off a duck's back.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, not much you can do about it. I mean, I carried a lot for a long time, and so it took a lot of work not to care anymore.
To let go.
Yeah.
Interestingly, on that the church topic, I was at the engagement party the other night with you.
Okay. Yeah.
And the NRC church in Chilliwack, I got the whole history of how it started from the kids of the pastor.
Oh, okay.
Who are now,
Reverend Romaine.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Oh, nice.
It was really humbling. It was a beautiful story.
Yeah. I know the man. I don't know much about that guy, but I know he loved Jesus a lot. He talked.
Oh, he was. It sounded like he was a class act. I mean, it was just even the history of kind of like how the church started. And that's why I'm talking about the different churches doing the school together. Like when that church started, everybody had come from Holland. Yep. Well, they didn't all go to the same church in Holland. But they all got here, and of course, there's so few of them at first, in the 50s or whatever. I don't want to butcher the story. I'm sure I'm going to butcher the story now, but I'm sure these people don't listen to this anyway, so it doesn't matter. But it was just interesting how they come there, and like this guy was not wanting to be a pastor at all, and basically was called by the Lord and had the affirmation piece is really special. But it was just cool how like, hey, all these people, they just had to get along. And that's how we all should be. That's what the Bible literally tells us to do. It tells us to put aside our petty differences, to be unified in Christ. And it's just funny how we do anything but that. Like, oh, no, these people want chairs. These people want pews. Okay, we're splitting churches. Oh, these people. And I mean, it's obviously way more than that. There's doctrinal differences. But the doctrine is, like, we're literally reading from the same doctrine.
Yeah.
The same doctrine book. We're reading from the same, back of the Psalter, we interpret things a little bit differently. There's different emphasis put on different things. And I just think that there's something really special about putting aside your petty differences as Christians. And we have it at every denomination. It's not just that church. I'm saying we all can split hairs over really lame things. And I just thought it was really cool to hear the original story and to think, I think there would be great health. My personal opinion was, so I was going to talk to you about getting the story on here. Okay. There would be great benefit to people that go there now to hear that story.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Because I think that very quickly we forget our roots. We forget.
And it matters. Our culture matters. Like
it does matter. And I think once you veered from that, it's like, hey, why have we? And how do we get back there? And I think you can get back there. And I think that when there's humility by people and just realizing that we don't need to be divided, right? It was pretty cool. Anyways, you were there too, but you weren't part of that conversation. You're out with the young people.
Yeah, I wanted to
stay young.
Anyways, this past Sunday in Minneapolis, so this would have been January 8th. Hey guys, if you enjoyed that episode and were blessed by it, would you be willing to support the show? That would help a lot in creating more content, improving the quality of the content, putting the production value, getting more guests on, and me being able to spend more time and energy towards it. So if you're interested in doing that, you can click up here and it'll take you to a support page. But you can also subscribe to the podcast by clicking over here and doing that. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.